what issues are out there. I think that would be probably good too.
You know, Carl, one thing.
We've got a live stream message now.
All right. Let's get it. Let's do it.
All righty, good evening. This is the Farmdale Sanitation meeting for August 4th of 22. We have Judge Wells is with us, Carl Gross, our operator, Ray, the board member, myself, Charlie Bob Burnett, Hank Swigert. He is one of our newest board members, replacing Ferlin Ray. We have Jeff Reynolds with H&B. We have Karen Leverance with, is it Bluegrass Ad? Is that how you say that? And then we have Robert Hewitt and Ian Northcutt on was. I don't believe I'm missing anybody. I believe so. We will move on to approval of the minutes from July 7th. I know I reviewed them and they look good to me.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
right. Minutes are approved. Moving on, we'll get into Ray's treasurer report.
Alrighty. It's hard to get it on one page, just a minute. We started July 1 with $128,248.06. Our sugar fee income was $38,750.63. We got a draw on the cool book grant from fiscal court of $94.50 or $9,450. Our interest from the bank was $23.27. And last month we spent $42,792.77. Our ending balance of July 31 was $133,680.19. The KIA loan account had no activity. Our grant account.
Gentlemen, I have the meeting live now, so my apologies.
Sir.
All right. Our grant account, we had a check of $14,423.98 to H&B. We had a deposit of $10,510.11. The balance at the end of the month was $24,930.28.
Robert, you're on live. You need to be mute. You need to mute.
Yes, sir.
Bills for this month, $162.11 to the plant board, $4,348.18 to Bluegrass Energy. Both of those are electrical charges. Farmdale Water, $225.71. We had $30,410.28 to Place Analytical. Another check to Place Analytical for $586.44. Those are both for lab reports. We had $485 to Casey's Lawn Service. Capital wastewater operations and maintenance this month was $25,235.58. An allied pump bill for the pumping at Farmdale is $8,723.98. We had another allied pump bill for some maintenance work, $1,832.90. For public services, $96.89. Bowman Harp Legal Services was $1,233.50. We have a leak reimbursement at $93. Another leak reimbursement for $97.50. Our payroll tax this quarter, $550.80 to the U.S. Treasury, $97.20 to the Kentucky UI Fund, $36 to the Franklin County Treasurer. We have a reimbursement to me for mailing and stamps, and I need to get one of y'all to look at that initially. Okay. Just so they know I'm not the only one that looked at that. Was $1,018.52. We have $356.44 to each of the board members for compensation. A bill from the insurance store for $314.56. And we have EPA grant accounts on the big project to H&B. One check was for $10,510. The other check was for $12,845. And that's going to take us down to about $88,000. When we get our sewer fees, we should jump back up to around 130. They have a question.
No, the Allied pump, the second one, was that for the Cherry Lane when they had to move it? Is that what?
No, that one is more than likely for the Highwood pump station, because I had them come in and pull both
Oh,
pumps out of
that's
the pump
right.
station
Where
to
we
inspect those and
Check
see
those
what
floats and all that stuff.
we will, I'll get into that in the report, but you will see some more
Allied.
pump invoices that they haven't been able to bill yet.
Okay. I'll make a motion to pay all bills. All right, all in favor?
Yeah, one Allied pump fills for Quail Run, the other one is for pulling boats. Cherry Lane, was it the other one?
Well, I know you should be getting one for Highwood and then also Cherry Lane. We have the bypass pump set up
Yeah,
at
I
Cherry
think it
Lane.
says pull both pumps, but it doesn't say where.
Yeah, that was Highwood pump station.
That one's for the floats are messed up and stuff.
Yeah, but I had them, because that one pump when we was there, I told you something was going on with that one pump there.
Are there 2 pumps in that Highwood pump station?
Yeah, that one's been a little tricky here, but
No, there's 2 pumps and one working.
all right.
2 pumps and 1 working.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hank's neighbor kind of caught us one time. It got close, so seeing it starting to.
Also got the bank statements here reconciled. We're $66.52 off on one of them. That's from our leak reimbursement from June that hasn't been cashed yet,
Okay,
but they just needed an initial also.
okay. So we can review this. And go through it.
And yeah, this one's checks, need another signature.
All right, we can get that at the end as well. All right, any more discussion on that? We'll move on to Quail Run project status. I know, we talked to some people out there in the area. We had some issues this past month, but there's progress. So, our contractors on site to start basically putting in the bypass lines to put that system down. Do you have anything to tell us more than that? Or?
I think they started last week with the bore. They've got the bore pushed under the road and they've started laying. I'd say they're probably getting close to a couple 100 feet of it in already. So hopefully, I don't know if they're working tomorrow or not, the rain probably not, but they'll be getting close to, what's it, not Highwood. what's it?
It's Brookfield.
Brookfield. They should be getting close to Brookfield.
Okay,
And then they'll start on the other side.
good.
That's moving.
Jeff and Charlie, if you don't mind, and we apologize because we were on. We didn't get on time because of some technical difficulties, but you said there's people watching. So can you explain to the people what they will see with this project? What outcomes will benefit them?
Yeah, I can explain it a little bit. Maybe Jeff can
Are you-
elaborate too.
Yeah.
At the end of Quail Run Court, we have that's a pump station, correct?
Yes.
Well, in that area, that pump, everything that goes in your pipes and comes down through, that pump has to lift it back up and push it kind of over the hill and to the next, down to the Coolbrook station, correct?
Eventually ties into a manhole, which
Ties
flows
into a
down through there.
manhole off of Harvest Moon.
Right. So the end result game here is the pump is failing. We can't keep it clean enough. My recommendation is please try to watch what you put in your toilets and flush, but when that thing fails, what happens is the pump dumps over into the creek because it has nowhere to go. And so that's when you see black water in your creek. In this instance, that's what was causing it, that we had actually an issue this past month. What we're trying to alleviate is take that pump system out and actually make it a gravity to the Coolbrook plant, a different route, and bypass that pump altogether, and it'll be a manhole there instead of a tank.
Yeah, pump station be completely gone and it's like I said, just flow by gravity down to Brookfield Drive. And
Go under Brookfield and then go on down to the Coolbrook plant that we have there. And that's kind of the gist. Carl, you have anything?
With where the pump station sits, it makes it almost impossible to get a back truck or a piece of equipment to that pump station to be able to maintain it
Yeah.
properly the way it needs to be maintained.
And just the way I guess it's a runoff area there anyway, so it's hard to access even by person because of trees and the way the creek road is eroded there. So this is gonna be good. They're gonna keep all this out of our creeks and streams, and honestly, it's a good thing. But this was a project that we got grant money for. Or is this a loan?
This is loan.
Excuse me,
Loan.
a loan to take this one offline and bypass it. And it's coming to fruition now. We have a contractors on site, and it's gonna happen.
Should
You have a
eliminate,
cost and how much it,
the project is what, 330,000.
okay.
They should eliminate a big O and M project problem that I think Carl fights with every month.
One that's gonna also help protect the environment.
Oh, yeah.
And the public.
Yeah, and I mean, I've not been on this board long, and he's had his hands on all this, literally. But I think me and you've been there 3 times for
Yeah.
failures.
And this
And-
past month, I've been there quite a bit this past
Yeah,
month.
so, and the neighbors around that area have been wonderful to deal with, but I think they've had enough. So everybody involved is gonna be happy with this is done. I believe. So,
Can you, for the general public, can you give particular streets and areas that will benefit from this? I know you're saying that they may not know the pump station. that they're actually-
Well, I think the streets that would benefit is probably anybody all the way back to Mr. Bailey's farm at the tail end of the neighborhood, past Evergreen Estates, because this goes past Hank's property. This goes all the way, it
On
goes,
the creek.
yeah, you have the farm, the Mitchell property that this stuff runs off into. It runs into the creek at Brookfield. It goes behind, that is clear.
There's Hollow Creek, there's a bunch of them.
There's Hollow Creek, Brook,
Clearwater.
yeah,
Clearwater.
Clearwater, all the way back to Pebble Court,
Highwood.
Highwood. I mean, this Wooded Way, this affects basically everything closest to, I guess, the water tower side of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's a major thing. We've been working on, Jeff and them's been working on this for quite some time, and we finally got all of our easements, got our ducks in a row, and got a contractor, honestly, that seems to know what they're doing and feels comfortable. And I think the timeline is only 60 days.
60 days.
Yeah, that's what I asked, what's the timeline?
So they've been on site for at least a week,
We're right
so
at a week, so hopefully.
we'll get that off, that pump offline. I don't know, part of that project, Jeff, do we have to get that electric out of there?
Yeah, they'll take the,
That's part of the scope of work.
yeah, just the panels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Carl, I guess from what the contractor said, they'll get it constructed, then they'll do, I guess, a tie-in and then start taking the old one out.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
so that one will still be patient with us. That one's still in operation until we get it done, and then they'll cut over to the new system, and we'll bypass that, take it out. And I've talked with the lady at the end of Quail Run, and I think she'll be tickled when it's gone as well. It directly it's right in her backyard. So
Well, unless, hope it doesn't. Significant rain still affect some of the sewage, the raw sewage and stuff until this happens.
It's still good, yeah.
until we get it
And
done.
we get it done,
But it doesn't, even bypassing the pump, please just watch what you're putting in your,
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I know what some things say they're the rags. I think one day we're gonna put some pictures on here, some of the stuff that Carl pulls out of there, and you'd be amazed at what's in the system that gets in the system from the sanitation lines, and it's not ideal. And it's hard on your own pipes if you have problems, so. That's about all we got on that. Good.
Okay, thank you.
You good?
I know the public, I was asking that.
Yeah.
the Public sector.
Yeah, I think all of us talked to somebody last month about this.
We all
well.
heard.
I don't think, Robert, I haven't heard anything from the CISOP. Have you?
Unfortunately, no, I have not.
Okay. We'll move on. We'll leave it for next month. Carl? You want to cover your reports for your, all our different, systems?
Yeah. So the trouble calls, we've had one major trouble call out on 147 Briarwood on July the 8th. Received a call for sewage overflowing into the lady's yard. It was actually coming out of the clean out. Went out and seen that, ended up coming to find out the main line was backed up. So I had to call Buchanan's out to jet the line. And I informed the homeowner that I would come out in a couple days to clean the mess back up where there was baby wipes and sewage in her yard. So the very next day, I planned on going out there, and then before I could get out there, she called again. And on the 9th and said it was overflowing again. So we was able to get Buchanan's back out and jet the line again. And then after they jetted it, I had them requested them to camera the main line. What they ended up finding was there was 40-foot sections of pipe that was busted, had cracks in it and roots because it's clay pipe in that Farmdale area. So the roots had made their way to the pipes and was actually busted. So he gave me an estimate on how much it was going to cost to fix it. So they got the line cleaned out, cut the roots out, but 3 bell sections need to be replaced. And because if we don't replace it, it's going to do it again. Where it's clay pipe. They went ahead and gave me a quote. It was $6,800 to have 40 foot of line replaced. I went ahead and made the judgment call, having that go ahead and put it on the schedule for replace, because this is going to turn into another major house flooding if we don't replace that. So it's actually scheduled to be replaced next week. There was so much baby wipes, which I got some pictures on my phone that I can show you guys. Baby wipes and stuff that came out of the sewer that it took me and another individual 3.5 hours to clean all the sewage and baby wipes up out of their yard and then sanitize their yard back the way it was.
Was the only affected customer this lady, or?
Yeah, it was only her that was affected, just because of where her house is positioned at the main line. The actual breaks in the line was in front of 121 Briarwood, is where the breaks was at and the blockage was at. So just at 147, where kind of where her house lays on the terrain, is it was the low spot.
What kind of pipe did they replace? Is it PVC?
They're going back with PVC, sewer PVC pipe. That's one thing I would like to bring up to the board is, I know we've done some major repairs and rehab to the collections in the Coolbrook area, a couple other subdivisions, but this is another subdivision that needs to be on our radar to start doing some work too on the collection side of it. Because the Farmdale area where the Farmdale plant is and these streets are all clay pipe. And we're gonna start having more and more repairs needing to be done.
So is the left side of Green Wilson probably the oldest part of that
Yes.
neighborhood? I can't think, there's one little short street off that one too.
Iron,
No,
That was
that's,
Briarwood. The Briarwood's the main stretch.
and then, you know, there's like there's one little street that has like 2 houses on
Yeah.
it. Is the right side part of Farmdale, you know, Farmers Lane and all that, is that mostly PVC or is that?
No, that's a lot of clay pipe,
yeah,
a lot of clay pipe.
that's what most houses are.
That whole collection system is majority clay pipe. Other than some of the lateral lines that's being replaced.
Jeff,
Issues.
when we did that project over in Coolbrook and and we went in and basically, did we push that stuff through and relines the pipes and
Yeah, a
all that?
lot of, yeah, 7 pieces.
I mean, what kind of, maybe this is a Karen question too, but I mean, there was some funding that we applied for to get that. I wonder if there's any available funding for something like that in that area as well.
Oh, I'm sure there's some, obviously there's loan money, and Karen could probably speak better to than I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely loan money, but parking grant
Yeah, I
money.
mean, you can use the cleaner water funds for that stuff, but otherwise you're probably looking at loans.
Okay.
So
Low
if you use-
interest, but
You use the cleaner water funds as a matching fund with CDBG.
Correct.
And that, can that be used that way to
Mhm.
repair lines? So you could do it. then.
So
It's gonna be earmarked as matching, but part of the matching is fixing the lines, which is part of the CDBG there. In other words,
we're
so
not,
there you go.
we're not fixing any of the lines as part of the CDBG. It's all brand new stuff.
all the
Well-
collection stuff is not gonna be addressed.
No, it's all brand new stuff. This big
Oh, okay.
project.
Well, yeah, I mean, that you can still use it that way. As long as it's being used in that Coolbrook and whatever that was, whatever
This
the
is
other,
Completely different subject, project, I mean subdivision.
oh, okay. Then you will, if you want to split it up that way, then you're gonna have to split it up into two projects. I mean, assign those funds to two separate project profiles, and so you'll need to come up with whatever the additional match is to meet that dollar for dollar match requirement for CDBG.
Think on that, Jeff.
He did.
I don't-
He'd rather keep it all new line?
I mean, that's what the big project is. I mean,
Okay,
that's what I don't know.
Well,
how
it's,
big a
it's
pro-
new line from A to B, but is it gonna go down every street and replace these clay pipes
We're
or
not
something?
touching any.
Yeah,
of
they're not touching.
That's
the
what I'm
existing-
saying. I mean, it concerns, I mean, we
That's
can,
right, that's why
This
I'm,
is
that's why I'm
all
bringing it up
Trump.
where, hey, we need to start thinking
Yeah.
about.
I mean, I get we
working
can,
on
we
this
can
collection
get it,
system.
but if we're not, if it's just running out inside the ground, then we ain't really accomplishing a whole lot either.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know, was it $14 million project, you know, start repairing them, the $14 million project, all of a sudden the 16, $18 million project.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, yeah, so Karen, here's help, we need help here, your thought. So how do you repair what has to be repaired, and I call it the veins, of this. The big money's going for the arteries.
Mhm.
Right, the big trunk lines are going all the veins are gonna go into the trunk line that are going into the, city, basically the Twilight Trail. So how do we go back to where all of these homes are, where their lines are clay and are root infested and are gonna need repair? Where does that money come from?
I mean, it can come from, you can use CDBG for that stuff, but that's not what you would have to expand the overall project that we would be applying for those funds. And the total we can apply for in CDBG is 1.2 million. But then you have to come up with 1.2 million in matching dollars.
Then our total
We
project.
can apply for, we can get a KIA loan and try for some principal forgiveness that allows 50% or $1 million, whichever comes first, of principal forgiveness. Otherwise, I'd say you need to look at RD grant loan.
All right. Well, we made it one trouble call on your list,
I
Carl.
know, it's gonna be a long one.
Oh, goodness. All right, Karen, we may touch base with you on down the road on this.
Okay.
And Ann, you and Karen talk and because the district will need some advice too on how to proceed with this. If you all could come up with some other ideas as well.
Sure.
Thank you.
So one of the other trouble calls was out in Huntington Woods area. I actually got 1002 Cottonwood, but I think it was 1005. Cottonwood, where the clean out was broke by the county. I was able to get out there and actually dig it up a little bit and repair that clean out on the main line.
Clean out was broken by the county.
That's the one I
Yeah,
called
that's
you
what I'm
out.
saying.
I think when when they were mowing I don't know what that tractor's
Right
called,
away,
but it's got the,
Yeah,
where the
that
arm,
wing,
yeah, it caught it when they went. Yeah, it was a road right on the side of the road, so.
And y'all fixed it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal then?
no, it's.
Oh,
been
okay, I was
fixed.
gonna say.
I actually made it where it was almost level with the ground, because that one was sticking up almost 4
Yeah.
foot out of the ground.
Yeah.
So I actually was able to get it pretty level with the ground, so if they come through and mow over it again, they shouldn't completely miss it. So then we had a trouble call for an odor complaint off of Brookfield, around 116 Brookfield. I explained to the homeowner that we was having some problems with the Coolbrook plant. But I did check the main lines. Main lines was clear, but I did inform the homeowner we was kind of in a drought and was no rain for those few weeks and really hot. That I was going to work on getting scheduled with Buchanan's to jet the main line just to make sure we can push some of that stagnant water that's in the main lines out, which they've gotten that scheduled and haven't done that yet, but the smell has dissipated since we got the Coolbrook plant back online. For the Coolbrook plant on 7/12, working on the control panel, trying to determine what electrical components on the control panel was bad. Then I got pulled off that to another call, but on the 15th, I had one electrician that helps me out, was able to get out there and get the control panel repaired. He replaced a NEMA 3 size starter and 4 overloads in the control panel, so the blower for tank 1 is back up and running properly.
Is that a new control panel or the old one?
That's the old one, because the new control panel still has not been delivered.
Yeah, that's what I was
and
thinking.
installed right here. So that is still the old control panel.
One's been ordered.
The new one has been ordered from Hills Electric, so we're still kind of in a holding pattern on that for delivery.
What, 3 months or so?
Yeah, it's go ahead.
So just this past Monday on August 1st, Air Company has started progress again on tank 4. They've started installing some of the airlines for the diffuser banks and doing a little bit more patchwork on the sides of the tank. Right now, we're kind of in a holding pattern again after they've been there this week. I'm needing to get a vac truck in there to get some of the solids and stuff out of the bottom of the oxidation ditch side of it. Again, I've been trying to work with the city on getting them to get a vac truck out there kind of in after hour stuff. But they've had one of their vac trucks go down and scheduling has not been cooperating very well for them being able to help us out. So I'm gonna ask for y'all's permission to hire a vac truck to come in and get some of these solids out that I need to be pumped out of the tank. So I know we broached that subject several months ago, but we was trying to save money to have the city help us. But we're looking at, if I call a vac truck in to schedule a vac truck, we're gonna look at a few $1,000s for them to come in and pump the solids out of the bottom of this tank. But we're kind of at a standstill right now until I get those solids out of the bottom of that tank.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
So you thinking a few thousand?
Well, I know when we done it and I contracted with Petco, we was looking around close to 10,000, if not 13,000. But that was them coming in, bringing different pumps in and stuff. All I'm looking for is to have them pump the solids out of the digester, the oxidation ditch part of it. So I'm
So
anticipating.
is it like just a vac truck, just sure that wouldn't be no $10,000.
No. Where the scope of the project from last time was emptying the whole tank,
Yeah,
completely empty. I'm just needing a few truckloads.
okay. I mean, if it has to be done,
City doesn't have another one that could do it.
Well, they have 2, but one of them is out for repairs. And then they're so backed up on their own work and stuff, they're struggling to fit us in on the schedule.
Okay.
So it's kind of stuck between the rock and hard spot on waiting on them and in the back truck out there. So I'm bringing it up now.
What about, and I just throw this out, what about Anderson County, Lawrenceburg? Are they kind of group that would help? People out?
I don't know if they would or not, on how they're kind of building.
You don't have conversation with them.
I mean,
I have another suggestion,
Right?
if I may.
Robert,
I believe the city public works department has a back truck that was transferred to them from the sewer department. Is that correct?
Yes.
Maybe
you
we
don't
can
know
speak.
about it? Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you think you can talk to somebody there?
Yes, I can call the director.
That'd be somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert, if you think it's something that possibly you could you and get them, maybe if they could, and work with Carl to try to do that. I mean, obviously, we gotta pay to have the waste gone.
Right.
A whole lot cheaper than everything else.
What do you think, Carl?
Sounds good to me.
All right, I'll call the director, or I'll go ahead and shoot her a text and hopefully she'll reply back tonight or tomorrow.
And if we need to, I can go with you to, if we need to set up a meeting or something. To talk to her.
Okay.
about it.
Thanks,
All right.
Robert. Good idea. If
Oh.
so, in the meantime, if, let's say this doesn't work, do y'all want, I mean, if they don't feel comfortable or whatever, and we need to, because it's sooner than later, right?
Yeah, because I'm pretty much in a standstill on full bid.
I mean, I don't want you to have to wait till another board meeting.
Yeah, we kind of need to get this out so they can start working when they can.
Do y'all feel comfortable if this doesn't work out with maybe the city helping us a little bit, then we authorize him just make the call and get it done with Petco or whoever you're gonna use.
I was gonna call Petco or Buchanan's.
Yeah, so let's see if we can, the city will help us. If that does, if that doesn't come to fruition, then y'all feel comfortable with him making that call? Yeah. You good, Carl?
Sounds good.
Move on.
All right, moving to Highwood Pump Station. I did have Allied Pumps come out. I know, I forget exactly the date that all three of us was out there at that pump station when we was having problems with the floats. But I had them come in and pull both pumps. Because one pump was sounding pretty rough outside the well. And they determined the bearings are going out in the one pump and the motor's getting weak in the other one. So I told them they got the model numbers, serial numbers off the pumps. And they are trying to scramble to find us replacement for those pumps. But right now, I've replaced all the floats but one in that whole well. Everything's, knock on wood, still running properly. But the one pump is pretty much shot, so it has one good pump working in the well.
You said those like flip flop, so one will run for a while and
Yes.
then the other will run
Rotate.
for a while.
Unless it's you got a rain event. And
Did we
both.
did a year or two ago, did we, aren't they, with the brand new pumps
no, those was the same old pumps that
refurbished or something?
You replaced some pumps out at Farmdale. Maybe a couple. Oh,
now,
wow.
pumps at Farmdale that's in the new pump station.
Yeah.
They're brand new.
Yeah. But I mean, since I've been on the board, I don't remember the Highwood one, but we got so many pumps. And once Quail goes, is there any usable parts in that pump?
Could potentially use the pump that's in that pump station at Farmdale for an emergency backup.
I mean,
As long as it don't get burned up between now and then,
right.
because that's the one I've installed and it is our last.
Can you
one.
make sure that pump gets saved?
Yeah, that's part of, they're supposed to get with Carl any
Okay,
materials.
Because I'd like to save the control panel as
Yeah.
well.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we ain't obviously got unlimited funds, so anything, if we can make it work,
Yeah.
I would think it would be advisable.
Out at Huntington Woods, the bypass system for the sand filters is online and working properly. We got the pump installed and hooked up, and the sand filters are currently drying out as we speak. I don't know if you smelt it when you drove by there, but every now and then I was there meeting Bros Contracting out there, or Bros Excavating, to get a quote from him. Depending on which way the wind blew, it had a little odor, but it was coming from the sand filters where they're drying out with duckweed and stuff like that. So they've been taken out of service. So we're not bypassing no water to the creek or anything, knock on wood as of right now. I did meet with Bros Excavating, to have a new water line run from the meter. We looked at running from the existing meter down the edge of the road and then bring it into the plant. He's looking at $2,030 to run 160 foot of water line. And then that'll be including installing a hydrant there as well.
Probably gonna need a rock salt.
So, well, and that's what we discussed, that it looks like there's enough rock there that we can get it under the ground and kind of be laid properly.
We had a jackhammer
Yeah.
the post for that fence.
So they do know about the rock and they think they should be able to lay that pipe there for a new water line. The only thing they want me to make sure, if y'all approve that, make sure, you know, Huntington Woods was okay with him running down the edge of the road there. I guess the homeowners association or something.
Hey, that's right away. I don't guess they've got any.
Must be county road easement, so should be okay there.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be cheaper than what Farmdale Water suggested of boring through under the ground and setting a new meter. So,
Honestly, for that, and especially what obstacles are going through, I don't sound like a bad price.
you give me the word and I'll call them, have them scheduled, because I do need wash down water there.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming. Yeah, I think we're all good with that.
I guess they'll fix it back. And
Yeah,
put
they'll-
grass seed over it.
Yep.
They do as good a job as they did on that driveway over there off of Michael. They do good work.
Oh, yeah, they do great work. Quail Run Pump Station. We have, I've been out there more times than I want to count this past month. So the ones we got a call for the pump station bypassing, got out there and the pump was clogged up. We pulled the pump, cleaned the pump out, which I had to call Allied Pumps in for this past month every time I needed to pull this pump to assist me. So we pulled the pump and they cleaned it out. We test ran the pump before hooking it up to the discharge line. And it was working, hooked it all up, started pumping, and it wasn't pumping down. So I went to the discharge side manhole off of Harvest Moon, and there was no discharge coming out of that manhole. So I determined that the discharge line from the manhole all the way up to the next manhole was clogged. I had to call Buchanan's in to clean that line, and they had to enter from Harvest Moon side to go toward the pump station. I was able to bring it online, back online then, and then a few days later, it got clogged up again. We pulled the pump, unclogged it, and then we put the pump station back together and took off and running. A few days later, we had another problem where it stopped pumping. The pump was running, but wasn't pumping. Then after further inspection, we seen that the discharge line coming out of the pump was actually busted. So we had to pull the pump, replace the PVC lines coming off the pump, and we finally got it up and running. After we put that pump in, we had to pull it back out because that pump, where it had been clogged up so many times and running dry, it burnt the pump off. So we did have a spare. It's our last spare. So I'm hoping it lasts till the construction is over, because it is our last spare that we had. So, but the pump station currently is up and running.
Flushable wipes are pulling out of it.
Yes, flushable wipes and, a lot of debris of other products as well getting into that
What
pump,
kind of products, Carl?
feminine products. So. But as of right now, the pump station's online and then is working properly.
Hank, is that still back up in yours? Is that still back up?
No. We had an issue back end of June.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's the one we met Carl.
Yeah,
with.
that's night we met Carl. And since then, we haven't had any trouble.
Yeah, the only thing really
Yeah,
since
I
then, we had some, we had bad storm come through and we had poles got tore down over there. We lost electric, hence, pumps ain't running,
Yeah.
so. Everything kind of got a little sketchy there, but, they got the electric. back on.
Did we ever get the tree cut?
No, that's one thing I'd like to address too.
Jump out of line here. but
No,
that
no,
was-
yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
I meant to bring that up when I was talking about Highwood, but the tree there in front of that Highwood pump station needs to be cut down. Cause it's actually pushing the top of that well off
Yeah.
the pump station well. Where it's growing, it's probably pushed it off the top of the well a good 2.5 foot.
Yeah,
Who needs to cut it?
yeah.
Is that county or you all?
I don't know. It's sitting on top of a well.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot
it's,
of you all there.
I mean, I don't know. It's a big old tree.
Is it, it is big?
Yeah, it's big. Sycamore, I guess. I mean, that, as big as the tree is, you think. When they put that pump in, they had a digger in that tree.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a. What would man guess on getting that tree taken out?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Um,
I bet several $1,000. And then the removal of it, maybe we could get some help in the road department to remove it. If we have a, you know, a licensed insured person to take it down, because it's right close to that house. We're gonna have to have,
yeah, we don't want it to damage the pump either.
no,
You have to get tree service. coming.
Yeah.
With the bucket truck.
Last night it's 1,500. It was only about 10 around.
15
that
minutes.
one is a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it's
probably at
between
least
2
three
houses, so it's got.
or
a really
4
one way
foot
to fall.
diameter. Tree. I mean, it ain't no little tree.
You know, what's his name? Bay, he does it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do. I can
Yeah.
contact him if the board.
contact him.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can contact Danny and see if he does good work.
He does good work and they're a lot less than most of those other companies.
You
But
always,
if he could get it down, maybe we could get the road department to help chop it up all the way.
Well, yeah, we'll do what we can. I mean, I know we can get it hauled away. I don't know about chopping it up.
Well, you know what I mean, grinding the limbs and
Mhm. Yeah, we can do that.
stuff like that.
all right, y'all feel comfortable calling him?
Absolutely.
I'll,
Bonfire if we need to.
yeah, I mean, that's, if, you know, we'll discuss pricing, then we'll go from there.
I mean, that makes the job easier on maintaining the pumps, being able to pull them and stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to pull limbs back to open the top off.
Again, though, that's another item that needs to be put on the big project of having some rehab done at that pump station.
Charlie, I have a quick question for Carl.
Go ahead.
Carl, on that Highwood pump station, when we had it pumped down, do you recall any cracks in the well from that tree?
Oh, yes, definitely.
So is that whole, well, I mean, we're going to try to eliminate that station, but
That station's
No, that
staying there.
station's staying.
That's why I'm bringing up, it needs to have some major rehab done to that station.
can we line it?
Or you can line it, but more than just lining that station needs to be done.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the structural cracks in the well because of that tree. Remember when they did that manhole rehab demonstration for us out there?
Yes.
Would something like that be
It
effective?
would work. It would, but being able to have that well empty for a period of time is right now is impossible. Because there's no really safe way or easy way to hook a bypass pump up to that station. The only way to set a bypass pump up there to bypass that station is run it all the way down Highwood Drive or run it up the creek.
Well, we went down
Oh,
Highwood to, we ran 2 bypass lines at one time down Highwood and turned on Clearwater. If I recall correctly, I think it was Clearwater. So we've done it before.
Yeah, but it's gonna be very, very pricey.
It was then too. Right.
What needs to happen is it needs to have a valve box with a hot tap there to be able to hook a bypass pump and then hook it into that hot tap and bypass that station. That's one of the upgrades it needs, for sure.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering if we could rehab it with that technology from the demonstration we had, if that could help.
Oh, yes.
Save life.
Yeah, that would definitely work.
What do you, so you don't think the the structure of the well is too far gone from that tree. That if we did that rehab, we could maintain it, keep it,
I would first say it needs to be re-inspected.
right? Because that was a very fast, efficient, corrective measure for those manholes, and I don't see how a wet well would be much different. So, and if you well, I don't know if you were there, Carl, or not, but that stuff hardened up.
I was
instantly.
there, I never made entry into the pump station, but I was there when we was having the work done through that pump station.
I was talking about when they did the manhole demonstration.
Oh, man, oh, yeah, I got you. I was not there for that.
Oh, it was, Ray, were you there for that?
No.
Oh. H&B, was able to set up that demonstration. Jeff, what was that company's name? Do you recall?
Vector Shield, maybe, the pink, the orange or the orange stuff they.
I don't
Who's
know,
orange?
they want to demo on a pump station.
Well, I mean, Jeff, have you gone back, or Carl, to look at the manholes where they did the demonstration on them?
I've looked into one or two, I mean, for other stuff, I mean, look fine. I mean, still look good.
And just for the board's information, these were manholes that were brick lined and had a lot of leaks coming into them. So this demonstration showed how fast that product is applied and how quick it sets up and then seals it tight. So, I mean, these were brick lined manholes, with mortar joints. And
So this one with roots, does the company come in and cut the roots back and then line it?
Are the roots in that sticking into it? I mean, they'll
There's
have
no
to,
root sticking into it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you said there were roots.
I think it's
Just
actually,
the way the tree's growing, it's pushing the
yeah,
concrete lid off the well.
they might have to, that first section, you probably might have to go there and dig that first section out and kind of scoot it back over, you think?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
right. But I think we lined that.
At that point, probably. But I think Carl, as far as rehab, he's thinking pumps, floats and everything and the,
Piping.
yeah, piping and everything, not just the lining
Well,
of it.
But I'm saying we already got new control panel for dual pumps, remember? And we put new rails in it.
I mean, He wants that bypass, he needs that bypass. Put
Hot
in,
tap.
hot tap put in for this.
Okay.
Can we add that to the big project? I mean, if it needs to be done, it needs to be,
We cut some of this money from, have you used up all the 200,000 that the company has given y'all?
for the cool front. I wish, we're probably gonna go over.
Probably will at some point.
I mean, I think Carl's biggest problem with that project is we can't get materials. Well, it's been lack of material. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what your guess on that one is, but we won't probably go over by the pace.
We still got,
We've drawn 72,650 so far.
we still got roughly 30,000 with Hills Electric of work that still needs to be done. We're just waiting on materials on that. And then Hair Company's got the materials to finish their stuff. They're just waiting on me now after past week on getting the tank in.
That was over 70, that $4,000.
I believe so.
We're gonna be pushing it close, just I mean, I don't know, but probably gonna be over. Be out of pocket, more than that one. Is that your last, is that you got one more, don't you?
There could be 10 or 20,000 left over, just depends on how these other projects come in.
I mean, I would think it'd be a good idea at least to include it in the big project. I mean, if we're gonna. Like I said, I get it. But it's all gotta kind of function.
Well, something to kind of think about, I guess, to come back to it at another time. Cherry Lane Pump Station. So I had Allied Pumps on the 13th, set the new pump station or the new pump to give us 2 working pumps in that station. They set the pump but didn't wire anything up on it because they wasn't 100% sure how the control panel works. So I informed them that I would come out and wire the new pump up. Then I received a call on the 15th, saying that one pump was running but wasn't pumping. So I get out to the station and look, seems like the pump's clogged up. So I go ahead and unwire the old pump and wire the new pump up. And the pump comes online, runs for a good solid minute, runs perfect, and then stops pumping. So I was like, well, this ain't good. It seems like this pump's gotten clogged all of a sudden. So called Allies to come out and pull the pumps because they was literally there 2 days ago to set the pump. So they came out and we had to stop flow come from in the station, stop flow. We got the well pumped down. And I noticed that there was nothing but trash in the bottom of this well. So without them just pulling the pumps and then setting them back down in there, I knew that if we pulled the pumps, cleaned them, that they was gonna get clogged back up instantly. So called Buchanan's to come out and set up and clean the well. They got the well cleaned, the Allied pumps, pulled the pumps and found out the motors was burned up in the brand new pump they just set. Which come find out it was a manufacturer's flaw, so that pump's gonna be covered under warranty.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Worst news is the other pump was burned up as well. We lost a leg on, it's a phase 3 motor, so we lost one of the legs on that motor. And that was due to the power outages where we had some rolling blackouts where the poles was gone, lost power lines. So when they got the power brought back, restored power, it actually caused one of the legs in the motor to go bad. So between the one Allied guy and myself was able to disassemble the bypass pump at Farmdale and move over to Cherry Lane. And we worked till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, setting up bypass pump, and that station's bypassing right now with a bypass pump from Cherry Lane all the way over to the Farmdale plant. So right now that station has no working pumps in it, and we're waiting to figure out, they're doing their best to find new pumps to go in that station. And then the one that's under warranty is currently getting fixed as we speak. I just don't have no time frame of when they're gonna actually have it fixed. I guess give you a little news, Farmdale pump station is installed and up and running properly. I'll give you a little good news at the very end, but we did have to move the bypass pump over to Cherry Lane.
What does the city do, Carl, when about keeping their pumps from
So,
burning up like that?
so the city, they have quadruple the staff that Farmdale Sanitation has. And a lot more equipment. They have crane trucks, back trucks, and crews that take care of the collection systems. They have routine maintenance, so they go out and inspect the pump stations, just like I inspect your guys' pump stations. But they have the capability of pulling their pumps in-house, because they have crane trucks to be able to pull them, clean them, and inspect them on a regular basis. And that's one thing Farmdale doesn't have.
Well, the other piece of that is, one of the things that you mentioned was the electric going out.
Yes.
What does the city have a backup?
Now, on some of the big pump stations, or majority of the big pump stations that the city have, they have backup generators at each station. And then
That's expensive.
they also do have pumps go out or burn up, get clogged up and run dry, and motors go out on them. But they also have an inventory of spare pumps and backup pumps in stock. So if they have one go out, they can pull it and set a new limit.
Well, Carl, appreciate it. We'll see what we can do on some of your suggestions.
Charlie, could I ask a question of Carl again?
Go ahead.
Carl, these stations that are running on 3-phase, is that necessary? I mean, these are small pumps. Is there any way we could transition over to single phase and then we could get some portable standby generators?
If you transfer over to single phase, you're going to end up having a smaller pump and not being able to pump the amount of water that you need to pump. So my suggestion is no, not switching over to 3-phase. Then you're going to lose capacity.
All right, because I was wondering if the Farmdale's pump stations are the only three-phase services in these subdivisions, because I'm sure all the homes are single phase, almost positive.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's a circuit built just for that station.
all right, just trying to think through it.
One of
Appreciate
the issues that you have with the electric on the three phase, it's 208, 230 three phase. Have a better three phase, you need 480 to run the pumps more efficient. And when you get into 208, 230, you struggle to find the pumps that need the proper electricity that you need. And that's what they're struggling with right now.
I'm not an electrical expert, but I do believe it's more efficient too, as far as energy costs, because you get more for what you're using. It is different. Anybody have any more questions for Carl? All right, we'll move on. We have a EPA draw request number 20 for an amount of $10,724. We also have a KIA draw request number 33 for $8,775. Do I have a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion to pay those.
I will second it. All in favor?
Hey, did we do a motion on accepting his minutes? Oh, okay, who did it? I didn't get to vote down.
He made the
I don't
motion
know if we voted on it. We make a
On the-
motion in a second.
on the meeting minutes.
No, on Carl's minutes,
Oh,
Oh, we
on
don't,
Carl's report.
we don't have to make a
Oh,
motion.
okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm
We don't
learning.
have. Now we have a KIA draw request for Quail Run number 1 of $40,000.
It's only actually 35,000. We signed it today. I think Chris is estimating it'll be somewhere around 40.
Okay, yeah, I think you were, might have been out in the field and couldn't answer that, so.
Yeah.
So it's actually a KIA draw request for Quail Run number 1 for $35,000.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to make that pay request.
second.
All in favor? Aye. All righty, moving on. We need to authorize the chairman, myself, to sign assistance agreement for any related documents for Quail Run project.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on. We have our 2022 to 23 budget approval. I know we've
Got to make
reviewed,
copies, but I sent you all.
I know we've reviewed it. That's gonna be real close, ain't it?
Yeah,
That's pretty tight
it'll be better next minute because that's gonna show the 4 months
of old
of
funds.
old rate and 8 months at your new rate. But
Okay.
after the year after that, it'll get better.
Do you have any questions about the budget? I'll make a motion to approve our raised budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All righty.
And we'll need to, I'll get a copy of that to Robert for fiscal court.
Do you need this or can he have this one?
Yeah, he can have it if you want. Okay. And we'll need to file with DLG, I think, and pay for DLG fee this year.
All righty. Karen with Bluegrass Ad is with us. I'm sorry, hon, that we've drug this out for you. Have you last this past board meeting, I think a lot of people were caught off guard with our we made a rate increase and things like that, which honestly none of us wanted, but it just has to happen to keep all these things going. These are old. So
Yeah, I'm gonna pay.
Karen, I would talking to the board, I think we would like to
Yes,
set
that's
up like a
not the
public
big-
meeting to meet our customers. I think Robert, I don't know if he's on here anymore, but basically he has talked to the fire chief Brewer, and he's fine with it. If we would like to use the fire station out at Evergreen Road, we just need to pick a time and a date, and he's fine with it. If they have a run, I think they can go, but we'll be fine to be there. And I think Robert will be there as well with us.
I'll be there too. But is that gonna be big enough?
Well, we're hoping so. I mean, the thing is we're still under a semi-COVID precautions, and I don't want to rather have it kind of semi outside than inside, but hope so. I think a lot of people, I know Hank has talked to customers, I've talked to customers, I'm sure Ray has had some people discussing, kind of explaining these funds. Also, Karen has some things that we need to go over with some customers we might be able to do as well. Karen, do you want to elaborate on any of that?
Sure. So one of the other things, when you're picking a date, we still need to have the public hearing for the CDBG application. And that has to be advertised in the paper. And then the meeting itself has to happen at least 7 days after it goes in the paper. So if we got it in the paper for next week, would the hard copy get published? Does that get published on Thursdays?
The newspaper,
Yeah,
Tuesdays and Saturdays, I think.
Tuesdays and Saturdays. Okay.
Actually, they just changed it to Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Like they did.
Okay.
Wednesdays is there. Okay.
Okay, so if it goes in the paper next Wednesday on the 10th, then the earliest we can have that public hearing is
17th.
the 17th. Yep.
What's y'all's thoughts? I know, so the 17th is a Saturday. Would y'all
The
rather have it
Wednesday.
on a, I'm sorry, Wednesday? Would y'all rather have it on a weeknight? To meet anybody that has questions, concerns? Or would you rather have it on a weekend?
You ought to do it during the weeknight.
Weeknight, okay.
Yeah.
So,
But not a Wednesday.
Wednesday's church night,
No,
so.
that's right.
Okay. So you can have it pretty much any time after the 17th up until the 31st. 31st is like the drop dead date that you can have this.
One of the issues, and I know I'd like to come, and some of the magistrates may too. There's a Department of Local Government training. The 18th, 19th, something like that, in Louisville.
Yeah, Judge, it's going to be that 17th through the 19th.
17th, 18th, and 19th. Yes.
Mhm.
And it wouldn't be enough time, Karen, if we moved it out to like the 22nd.
We could do it the 22nd.
That is a Monday.
Well, all you need is 7. Once you do the 7 days, you can have it anytime after that 7 days, right? So
But-
so it's not.
It has to be between 7 and 21 days, but because the application is due September 1st, the drop dead date that you can have, the latest you can have this public hearing is the 31st.
So you could have it on a Tuesday, which would probably be, what, it would be like the
3rd or the 30th.
23rd. The 23rd would work, wouldn't it? Couldn't it?
Mhm.
What do
I
you
just
got?
I know we can't have it, we have to have it published and it has to be before the 1st. And I honestly rather give her some time to help us get it wrapped up before. I don't want to go to the deadline and try to push her harder to get it done,
It'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
How's the 23rd? That's a Tuesday. How's that sound for any of you? Hank, is that good for you?
You want to have it at the Evergreen Fire Station?
Is, and on a time frame, I know you got people work, kids will be back in school then, but
Probably. want
maybe
to have
like
it
a
at
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Robert, can you let the fire chief know that? Or do you want me to?
No, I'm happy to reach out to him. So the 23rd at 5 o'clock.
Yep, 23rd at 6 o'clock.
Oh, 6 o'clock, excuse me.
We're gonna have to have them park out their vehicles outside of the garage, the bays, and then have a few chairs and tables in there. And, so Robert, get with me, and we need to talk with, Jeremy, and have, chairs and tables set up out there.
Do you think we need to contact maybe the church and maybe see if it's extra parking? Because ain't there a little church right beside it there?
There is, yes.
Can you take care of that, Hank?
I could try. I don't know anybody at that church.
I've never seen anybody even park.
Well, yeah,
there.
I've seen them there on Sunday morning.
Okay,
Well, then if 6 o'clock on Tuesday, if they're not having a service, they shouldn't mind.
well, I'll try to reach out and try to find a number for them. I'm sure, somebody will find, see if they don't care if we maybe.
Yeah. We need to make sure that if the trucks are parked outside of the bay, the people don't park in front of them, that they can get out
Okay,
real quick.
Well, they're hooked to the sewer too, ain't they?
it would, they're,
Church.
Probably,
I don't know,
the church is,
is it?
because I saw them when I sent out the
Okay.
notices, they were on our labor list.
Okay, so the 23rd at 6 at the fire department. We'll talk to Chief Brewer. I'll try to make contact with the church, make sure they're fine, see if they care if we do some parking. There, hopefully, if you have questions, concerns, Carl, you think that's a date that you can be there as well? We're not, I know our board and Carl and everybody, we want the best for y'all. So, if you have questions, you can contact us or come to this meeting, because honestly, this would be the best thing to kind of get it out there. And,
We'll advertise it. Robert, next week also, if you would, once we get it confirmed with the chief and all of that, let's get with Andrew and let's get that out on Facebook. I'll see if I can get, also, we'll get Andrew to send it to the State Journal.
do we get Andrew or does Pam do that?
Well, we'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so in order to be advertised correctly for the 23rd meeting, it would need to appear in the August 13th edition.
Okay.
So
That's about Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
well, I feel more comfortable, well, yeah, either Tuesday or Wednesday, so we need to start working on an advertisement.
Yeah.
Mr.
This
Chairman,
time-
would you like,
So, here, this is probably the most important question. Karen, is there a particular way you have to advertise for CDBG to make it official?
Yes. Can everybody hear me? Sorry, the power
Yes.
went out. Yes, there's a specific ad template. I'll fill it out and I'll take care of working with Ann to get it to the paper and everything.
And if ASAP, we get that,
Mhm.
get that copied and then, we'll take care of that part.
Thanks,
Yep.
Judge. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Karen. Now, Karen, do we need also, to put it out there, we are applying for funds that honestly needs customer input.
Yes,
And we will be asking, I think it's randomized,
it is.
but we have a list of customers that we will be contacting in person to take a survey. And it's hard. You don't see many people walking around other than Hank during elections. But we will be asking questions and it's not, it's just kind of basic. Karen, you like anything on that, or can we
Sure.
discuss that during that meeting?
So the survey is to help the sanitation district qualify for the CDBG funds so that you can get the grant funds. Part of qualifying for that is demonstrating that your project is going to benefit households that are low income. So what the survey is doing is verifying that at least 51% of the serviced area from the project is under a certain income threshold. Nobody will have to provide any kind of proof of income. It's a very just your best guesstimate to the nearest whole dollar honor system. Nobody has to provide any kind of, timesheet or pay stub or anything like that. No tax returns. The surveys are confidential. The only person that will see them, people that will see them, is whoever helps you fill out the survey, and then myself. And after 5 years, all of the surveys will be destroyed.
What is the definition of low income?
So for CDBG, our survey is going to cover 3 different funding sources in the event that we need to pursue any of these funding sources to get either free money or extremely low interest money in order to help keep this project as cheap as possible, which in turn helps keep customer rates lower.
Right.
So for CDBG, they go by median household income. And so there's 4 different categories. It's just a range. It doesn't require it won't require anybody to give a specific household income. It's just your income falls within this range, so you mark this box. For
Is it based on
KIA,
size
sorry,
of family, number of kids, or anything like that?
it will there's some additional demographic information that will have to be answered. But it's really just the number of people that reside in your household. And then the total household income for that number of people within the household. The other 2, there's going to be a question for KIA. They use American Community Survey to do, I don't remember what the word is off the top of my head. It's a different metric for measuring household income and determining what's low interest or not, or low income or not. And then USDA, again, is a 3rd different way for measuring that income. But again, it doesn't have to be a precise number. Nobody will have to provide proof or give away any specific income information. It's just to the nearest whole dollar, best guesstimate what your total household income is for the year.
Does anybody have any other questions for Karen? Karen, are you going to be present at that meeting as well?
Yes.
Awesome.
And then, it may be that as folks, everybody's a Farmdale Water District customer over there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it may work out that if they come in to pay a bill, if the ladies at the water district have the list that I sent you all earlier, and they see that one of those addresses has come in to pay the bill, that they go ahead and fill out the survey while they're there. They could fill out the survey if they happen to be at the public hearing and their address is on your list. Otherwise, we recommend a door-to-door.
So the best thing to do, I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, just only top of my head, is this is the sheet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we don't give this sheet out or do anything until we have this 23rd meeting, or 22nd.
We have to have these tabulated by the 31st. So I would be taking this list. It's going to be crunch time. It's 61 addresses, which is a lot better than a couple hundred.
Yeah.
That it used to be. But I would be taking that list, and if you want me to, I could pop over next week sometime and kind of go through, or we could do another Zoom where I go through how to fill out the survey to make sure it gets filled out correctly. Whatever
If
you all need.
If stuff's missing, Karen, does it make it invalid?
It depends on what's missing.
Well, I'm saying, so like, if they don't feel comfortable, maybe putting the race on there, or,
Ethnicity is probably one of them.
yeah.
Probably they may not want to do that.
But I mean, if they don't check the box, I guess you'd say, is that gonna kick that survey out?
the most important information is to get that income range.
A name and their address, or I guess, so we
Yes.
got the address, that's where we're, okay.
I think Farmdale Water, are they open to the public? I think they're.
I think they are now. Well,
I think, like I was over last
Well-
week and they still doors were locked.
I've been there a couple times. I have to pick on the door.
Yeah, so I don't think they're open to the public.
Karen, we'll work our tails off, try to get them for you. How about that?
Okay,
All
that'll
right.
work.
And so,
Chairman-
Yes,
Chairman Burnett, quick question for Karen.
Sure.
If you don't mind. So there'll be an advertisement for the public hearing.
mm-hmm.
Should there be a separate public notice of the surveys and the door-to-door?
That's not a requirement, but if that's something you all want to do to try and increase participation and make sure you get those surveys done, I don't think it would hurt.
Okay, I'm confused, Karen.
Mhm.
You have drawn 61 names. These are the only people that can fill out the surveys? Well, then we really
Yes.
don't need we need to call those people out if they are there, and that's it. Or otherwise, we are really confused
well,
people if we want to do these surveys.
so Judge, the survey is something that we've been working on. The public meeting is something that the public is actually asked us. We've had a lot of people come forward after our last board meeting. So I think we're trying to kill two birds with one stone. If people come to that meeting and on that list, we might be able to get them to help us fill
And
out.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you really don't need to talk that much about that, other than there's a list of people that we have been randomly chosen to do a survey.
Yeah.
And if they refuse, does it affect the number?
Depending on how many refusals we have, we'll have to talk to DLG and ask them what they want us to do. They may allow us to go grab additional households to try and get completed surveys to make up for those, or if the LMI percentage, once we tabulate everything, is like really, really high, then they may just tell us to count those as over income because it's not going to impact your qualification.
Hey, and I'm sorry, but I
No,
think
you're
this
good.
is really important how we deal with this part. Can we, at this meeting, this public hearing, as they talk, ask any individuals there to take the survey if they're willing to and use it as a supplemental in case we don't get enough? You can.
Well, because I think if Karen explains it, it's kind of randomized amongst all our customers.
Just the ones in Edgewood and Coolbrook.
Well, Edgewood
Right.
and Coolbrook.
That's
But
correct.
I mean, I think it would be,
But it has to be followed by the list that we've randomized. So we can't jump around on the list. Like I can only pull that whoever's next in line on the list.
What we should do,
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see.
Why is it just Edgewood and Coolbrook?
The CDBG money they're going after is just for that part of the big project.
Yeah.
It's a-
we should probably just put up a poster board, tell people, hey, look and see if your address is on that board, come see Hank or Charlie or Ray or
That's
whoever.
probably right.
And
And just have them check the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right on that. I think that's probably
I don't think you can do that.
and just explain that there's a survey and some of you have been chosen.
and honestly, we'll probably, obviously, these are our neighbors, so these ain't, there might be a few people we don't know, but you may even be contacted. I may contact you by phone saying, I'm gonna come over and have you fill this out if you don't care.
Yeah.
To try to catch them, if I know them, you know what I'm saying, we know of them. or people.
And they need to understand that this is $1 million. If
Right.
they fill this out, this is $1 million
That's
for
gonna
this
feed.
project.
That they don't have to pay,
That's exactly right, off the top of the project.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's what we gotta stress.
Yeah.
That they don't have to pay.
Yeah.
If we don't get this, then here we go again.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm,
You know, a lot of these people I just seen,
Well, this is a two-prong approach. Actually, it's probably gonna be three. One prong would be the CDBG to talk about these monies. Two would be to talk about the rates. But also three, and this is where you come in, and Karen probably a little bit. What's the scope of this? What is it look?
what's the
like?
big picture?
What's the big picture? What's the kind of the time frame? What's the, what the phase that we're in? What are we gonna do with this $5 million that's coming in? What are we gonna do with this other million? So people are gonna wanna know that. So those three aspects of this meeting are gonna be really the crux of it.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you staying on with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chairman Burnett, I have another question for Karen, if you don't mind.
Well,
So Karen, of the random customer list.
Mhm.
If 51% of that list does not qualify as LMI, is that it, or do we add to the list?
Jennifer says that's it. I think we could be flexible if we needed to.
hey,
All right.
hey, would it be a bad idea? I know Ray just sent a bunch of letters, but would it be a good idea to maybe go on and kind of get something out there and direct mail these people and say, hey, we would like to do a survey, just give me a heads up that
Yeah, you can do that.
for 61 people,
Just those 61.
just to give them a heads up, hey, we're gonna be trying to get a hold of you. We need a survey done.
And could you and
Contact.
Karen draft a letter like that, that we could send, and if you got it to us, I'm sure that we could help with addresses, if you have that, if you could send that to Ann could get that to us, and we could have, we could have staff, get those letters out.
Yep,
If you don't
that's not a
take
problem.
care of that- But I mean, that would give us, by the time that
Need
it
to be
actually
signed
hits the
by
public,
you.
yeah,
It would
that's,
need to be signed by you.
but that'll give us even extra time. One, make them notice, you're gonna see it in the public, in the paper. And you're gonna be either knocked on your door, or we're gonna make contact, we're gonna come for you, and we need to talk to you and try to get this filled out. And please don't resist, because you're only hurting your neighbors and yourself.
Mhm. Yep.
You okay with that, Ann?
Absolutely. And, just so everybody, keeps it in mind, the CDBG applicant is actually the county. And the Farmdale Sanitation is the sub-awardee on that grant. So it's perfectly acceptable for us to help with that communication because we are the grantee.
Okay.
We're all one around here.
That's right.
All right, does anybody else have anything for Karen? Karen, you're popular tonight, so,
Well, that's okay.
I appreciate your help, and any funding we can go after. Let's try to get this done.
Yeah, and if any other questions come up, in the meantime, you know how to get a hold of me, so.
Thank you.
Hey,
Can work through Ann, get us information. And there's anything that you want us to do, let us know, or let Ann know to us, and, or if you can get directly to Charlie, that would be one thing.
No.
But
Now, these surveys, Karen, one more question,
Sure.
but they do need to be in person, right? If they were to, or.
That is the ideal method.
Okay,
Just so, if anything, just so you can make sure that they get filled out correctly.
thank you, you're the best.
Chairman, I have one more question for Karen.
Sir.
So Karen, is it okay to go ahead and begin the surveys prior to the public hearing?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Start
Yeah,
yesterday.
we're gonna get a letter out
We're gonna let her, but
ASAP.
we may have some people that we
You may
know.
already know that you can do it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can approach them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn.
I say,
All in favor? Thank y'all. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
All
Karen.
right,
Thank
bye,
you.
everybody. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks,
All
Karen.
right, thank you, Karen.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Holy smoke, well, okay?
Oh, that's.